All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's live. Thank you for joining me, whether you are on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, whether you're on YouTube or Instagram. Thank you so much for being here, because I'm sure that you have heard the headline in terms of what this is all about, because this week, or this month even, is all about sales. How do we improve your selling skills and master the selling skills so that you can then make your business or coaching business more profitable? Because remember, sales equals income. Income creates the money, and money determines the revenue to see if your business will survive or not. So let me ask you a simple question. How many of you want more wealth in your life? If you want wealth, put wealth in the chat, because you're going to have to learn this skill to know how to sell. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, but Michael, I don't like selling. And I get it, because I was the same. I was the person that didn't even want to talk to anyone because I didn't have the confidence to even talk to people, because I felt uncomfortable, because my fear was actually rejection. I was afraid of being rejected. But the truth of the matter is this: everyone has fears. But the real question is, are you willing to overcome your fear to get what you really want? Because I need to be brutally honest here with you guys here, that to sell something, what I don't want you to be is this: the sleazy car salesman that just wants to rip someone off, give them something, take their money, don't deliver the service, and run off. Now, I don't want you to be that person. And I also don't want other people to have the perception of you as being one of those people. But the truth of the matter is that sales is actually a skill of life. And no matter how we want to put it, whether we like sales or don't like sales, sales is actually a skill in life. And it's probably one of the most important skills. And a lot of you are probably thinking, how, Michael, and why, Michael? The reason why is this: just think about it. How many of you know someone, or it might be yourself, that have been in a relationship? Maybe an intimate relationship, maybe a married relationship, right? How many of you know that? Okay, if you've been in one of those, you've already either sold or been sold to. And you're thinking, how, Michael, and why, Michael? Well, the reason why is this: if you go on a date with someone, and you saw on the first date, you have to impress them enough to actually sell to them that actually you're worth a second date. We had to sell to them that actually you have similar beliefs, you have similar morals, you will do what you say you will do, or say what you promise. Because if they say yes, they're actually saying to you, I believe in what you're going to give me, so I'm going to give you a chance. And that's what a sales process is, right? And I want every one of you to be comfortable with this, because once you are comfortable with selling, it will change your life. You'll be comfortable with communicating with people. You'll be comfortable with giving your ideas out there. You'll also be comfortable with resistance when people say, actually, I don't think that's for me. Or actually, I got a few questions. That's okay, because that just means that whatever you're trying to tell them, or whatever you're trying to help them with, it wasn't clear enough. And it's about clarity, because remember, for someone to say, yes, I want that, how many of you agree they have to understand what you're actually talking about, right? It's one of the key principles. You have to really get it and say, actually, this is, I understand what you're offering me, and I also understand how it's going to improve and benefit my life. Because if they don't understand that, they certainly will not even consider spending a penny with you, because they don't get why. The why is important. So this is where I want you guys to definitely be more comfortable, but ultimately it starts with the key word on this headline is trust. Building trust. And this is in my team here and around the world, the number one value is honesty, because honesty creates trust. And when we can be honest, we can be open with each other, then we also know where everyone is. There's no lies, there's no deception. It's just, okay, this is where it is and this is what it is. And there's no egos, it's just the facts are the facts. And then we'll deal with the facts, because then we know where we are, so we can move on and move forwards to where we want to get to. And this is why building trust is really important. Let's take the dating principle here. If you're going out on a date with someone, do you need to earn their trust? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Yes. Of course, absolutely you do. The reason why you need to earn your trust, or earn their trust, is because you only met them. And this is where I actually take my hats off to all the ladies out there. Don't you ladies, when you go on a date, I mean, I'm just talking about maybe this is back when I was younger. This is quite a few decades ago now when we'll go dating. We would meet each other. But nowadays, I know you got things like online dating, that maybe a very different principle. But when we used to actually meet people, I actually take my hats off all the ladies because you needed a lot of courage. Because the fact is, you're going to meet someone you've never met before, and you know that it's probably going to be a man that's bigger, that's stronger, that you don't even know how they're going to respond. They could be aggressive, they could be abusive, you don't know. But you suddenly just throw yourself forward and go, actually, I'm going to give them a go. So thank you if you're a lady watching this, thank you for your courage. Because you had to have a lot of courage to even put yourself in that situation. But of course, while you're meeting this person, you're having conversations, you have to build trust with each other. Because the question is, because remember, what's the whole purpose of going on a date? It's to actually fulfill something that both parties need. Whether it's love, whether it's affection, whether it's companionship, whether it's laughter, whether it's fun, whatever it is, there's something that needs to be catered for. And of course, you need the process is they need to build trust. And the only way you can build trust is by being honest. To be honest is like you're going to meet someone and says, hey, what's your name? You have to tell them your real name, right? How many of you would be really upset if you went on a date and someone told you a fake name? Say, for example, if you're a lady, said someone came to you and said, hey, what's your name? And it says, my name's Bond, James Bond. You would laugh. You probably laugh because then you probably think, they've got a good sense of humor. But you probably wouldn't believe them as well, right? Because the chances are they're not called James Bond. They're probably called someone else. But honesty, trusting someone starts with honesty. And I want everyone watching here to really value honesty here, because there's a famous saying from T. Harv Eker. He says, how you do anything is how you do everything. So when you see people that are dishonest, they can be dishonest in one area of their life, but they'll also be dishonest in other areas of their life too. And when they're dishonest in other areas, you just have to ask this question is, when are they going to be dishonest with me? And this is why I value honesty so much that when I can see, because I see through people as well, so I know when they're lying and when they're honest. When I see them, I actually congratulate them for being vulnerable. And being vulnerable can be tough too. Being vulnerable is one of those things that people don't like because they feel like, oh, I'm exposing myself. People will see my weaknesses, now they may abuse me. But being vulnerable is okay, because it's actually a nice reflection on where you are and how you need to improve yourself too. So the first thing is, when you build trust, when you're honest and you build trust, as you're building your connection with your prospects or your potential clients, the next stage is, of course, what are the objections? And when there's objections from a client, ultimately, like I said before, it's just because there's a lack of clarity. If you've explained everything very clearly, very honestly at the very beginning, there will be very few objections actually. And it's about, and when we look at sales processes, objection handling should never happen at the end. It's happened at the very beginning when you open your mouth. Because just think of it this way. If you don't introduce yourself and who you are, you've already got the objection of who the heck is this person and are they credible? Why are they doing this? Right? Because that's the whole purpose of the introduction, to deal with that objection. Then the next bit after that, when you've gone through credibility, is that you need to actually talk about, actually, these are the features and benefits. These are the things you're going to get. Because, of course, if the objection is, why do I need this? They haven't understood the features and benefits. So there's actually this process of why you need to say certain things at the right time. And essentially, it's to build trust through being honest of who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it and why do they need what you're actually trying to sell them. Okay, but essentially, selling is serving. Remember that, always selling is serving. Because when you actually get to the very end, I call it the sales process, there should be little or if no objections at all. And essentially just ask them, now I've gone through all of this with you, is this something that you're looking for? Then essentially it's a yes or no. And if they go, maybe, or not sure, it's just something they don't understand. They just ask the question. So is there something that you need more help with? And you just ask them. Because you're just being honest with them. Is there something you need more help with? And once you ask them the question, it gives them the opportunity to say, oh yeah, I just wasn't sure with this, because they may be a bit uncomfortable with asking, or a bit shy to ask, or they don't want to look a bit silly because, I should understand this, but I don't. So it's just about giving that opportunity. Say, look, is there anything I can help you with? Say, yeah, I need a bit more information on this. You deal with the objection, then you ask them, I hope that's helped you with that. Now, is this something that you like? And of course, with the question, then it might give you another objection. So actually, that's really good. I found it really interesting, but I just need a bit more clarity with this. That's fine. Then you just answer the objection. But most people, they will, if they're really good at going through the process of building trust through honesty at the beginning, they'll have very few questions at the end. I'll be honest, very, very few questions. And even sometimes when I'm on a webinar, because I know I want to help people with their health, their wealth, and their relationships, whenever I'm at the end of the webinar, I always ask, are there any questions? There are very few. And even if there's hundreds of people, there are very few questions. And there are people saying, all right, okay, if you want the next level of your wealth, health, or relationship, here, click the link. This is how it's going to benefit your life. And a lot of them, because they understood why I've explained it, how I've taught it. I mean, I can't go through all of it on this short live, but essentially, because they understand it, they click the link and go, okay, yeah, I want that. And because Dr. Michael Lee is credible, he speaks on stages around the world, and I understand why he does it, and I know it's going to benefit me. It will be stupid for me not to. And that's why they understand why I do what I do, because essentially, the clientele I work with is high-performance athletes in terms of their health and their mindset. In terms of coaches, I help the coaches coach the athletes as well, but also coaches who want to coach people in businesses, because of course everyone needs a coach, and I can set my own framework of honesty and being open to help as many coaches around the world as possible, so that they can help their clients make this world a better place. Ultimately, it always starts with one person. When two people connect, right? When you change one person's life, it then changes the family, the community, the city, the country, the continent, and then the world. But it all started with one. And this is why having connections, being honest, and being open with all these people is really, really important. And you'll never forget it now, because I want you to always come back to the dating example I gave you, that you have to build trust, because the bad dates are this. I'm going to give you an example of a bad date. You go on a first date with someone, and then after the first date they say, I had such a great time, I had such a good time, can we just get married? And of course the person receiving it going, we've only dated once, why are we getting married? I haven't built enough trust with you. And of course they're pushing too hard. And that's why they are the sleazy car salesmen. They are the hard sellers, because they're the ones who just say, let's just get married after one date. They haven't really got to know the person well enough before they take the next step. And build the trust. Just think, the simplest way of asking yourself this question is how to build trust is just ask yourself, what do you need in a trustworthy friend or a trustworthy partner? Right? What things? You need, of course, honesty, right? You need them to be able to be open, right? You need to have the same morals, the same values, the same beliefs. You have all these things, maybe the same hobbies, maybe the same interests, all these different things. And the simple question is that, can you ask them about them things and ask if they have them? And then experience if they have them too. Because remember, talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Make sure that whatever they say, they are actually doing. So I really hope that you found this live helpful, because the practice or the assignment I want to give you today is this. When you look at your best friend or your husband or your wife. Write down all of the qualities you love about them. And when you look at all those qualities, now ask yourself the simple question is this. Do you think your clients and your prospects would want that from you? Right? Some of them they will, some of them they won't. But then the ones that you highlight that they do, you have to deliver them. Deliver those needs, those attributes, those characteristics, so that you connect deeper with them. Because remember, you don't just want to sell to someone once, then say see you later. You want to sell to them over and over and over again, because you think it's take you so much energy and time to accumulate or build a relationship. You don't want to get rid of them quickly. Just build it up, and then they trust you. They know, they like, they trust you, and then they'll buy more and more and more because they value what you give. Because this comes from value. Make sure you give so much value that they want more. And you can do that by building trust. So this is where you say this piece, this live that I'm doing with every one of you today, I'm building trust. And a lot of you that watch, you always ask me questions. Oh yeah, that was really interesting, Michael. How would I do this? And that's fine, ask me questions and I'm happy to answer you because I know I want you to win. And that's the beauty of it. That's why I love about coaching. That sometimes I feel I want my coaches, so the people I coach, I want them to win more than they actually want to win. And only I can do it by being brutally honest with them and also by encouraging them to push them onto the next level. So thank you so much for watching today, and thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me on a Friday. Again, if you've been watching live, put live in the chat. If you've been watching a replay, put a replay in the chat. I'd always love to see who is connecting with me so I can reconnect with you as well. So thank you so much for being here. Have a lovely weekend and look forward to seeing you next week for the next lesson in sales. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.